We scaled Drippy.ai to almost $1 million in revenue, mainly through Twitter outreach, and we're doing the exact same thing with another company just to prove it wasn't luck. And so in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the 5-step process we're using to book over 5 demos a day for each company. All right, so the first step, and honestly the most important thing, is that we built an offer specifically tailored for cold traffic. And so on both of these companies and for all our users at Drippy, we encourage people to not pitch, or like if their main offer isn't built for cold traffic, to not pitch it to cold traffic. Okay. And so you might be wondering, okay, Alex, well, that's sweet, but what offers are working the best right now? I actually made a whole video about this. It'll pop up on screen right now and it'll be linked down below in the description. But here's a quick kind of summary of what that was. Okay. So essentially, and if you've read $100 million offers or gone through the course, you know this, but you want to make it as easy as possible for people to say yes to your offer. Now, the difference here is that they know nothing about you. Okay. You are a complete stranger. There's obviously ways to make sure, which we will get into, to make sure that you have a decent looking online presence so that people can click around, like specifically here that we're talking Twitter, can click around on your profile to make sure that you're legit. But you need to build an offer that is super easy to say yes to and that doesn't require a lot of trust, because again, this is the first touch point. Okay, so how do you do it? So there's really 2 main ways to do it. Number 1 are going to be super valuable lead magnets that people actually want, which is key, because again, I've seen and I've hopped on coaching calls with people. We run a weekly community coaching call with Drippy, and people like build lead magnets, but they're lead magnets that no one really wants. And so even like, it doesn't matter if you think the lead magnet is really good, if no one, like if the market doesn't, like isn't asking for it, if the market isn't replying to it, then it's really not a good lead magnet, so you should change it. Okay, so that's number 1, lead magnets. And then the second one are setup offers, specifically one-time setup offers. Why? Because again, you're not pitching a retainer. I highly discourage anyone to pitch retainers right off the bat unless you're reaching out to your audience already, meaning people that already know you. But you really want to earn someone's trust first, and then further down the line, build the systems that you can upsell them on the back end. So let me just explain this a little bit more in depth. So how to come up with lead magnet ideas. So there's a couple ways to do it. These are my 2 favorites. So number 1, you can just ask Claude or ChatGPT or whatever AI, just this prompt right here, like, hey, I run a SaaS company that helps online businesses book more sales calls through Twitter DMs. What are some lead magnet ideas that my ICP would find valuable based off of their most common pain points, right? So that's a great one that you can ask. And then the second one is to just think through the pain points and or the customer journey. Okay, so for example, for Drippy, right, our main lead magnet and our best offer for cold traffic is, and has been for a while, a list of 1,000 free leads. Okay, and that offer absolutely rips, and it still rips, and we've been running it for a very long time now. And so how did we come up with that? So we just thought about the pain points in the customer journey. So it's like, okay, what do people actually need to do to get value from our platform? Okay, so first thing is people need to find leads, right? And so we are literally just giving people leads. And then the next thing that people need to do once they have leads is they need to reach out to them, right? And so how do you do that? Well, you can either use Drippy and start your 7-day free trial, or you can just do it manually. What do most people prefer? They prefer to automate it with some sort of AI like you can at Drippy. And so that's kind of how we built that offer. Again, it's not our core offering, but it gives people enough to then need our core offering, which is our software, right? And it's actually like a lead magnet after another lead magnet, because we're doing a 7-day free trial. So that in and of itself isn't really like the core offer, because obviously if no one ever goes off of the free trial, then we're not making any money. So we give people leads, right, which costs us money, and then we give them the option of like, hey, if you want to get this set up for completely free, here's a 7-day free trial, 250 messages for you to try it out. And if you want that offer, there is going to be a link down below, drippy.ai. You'll get a 7-day free trial. And the next thing, obviously, after people start their automations, is they reply to messages. And so that's kind of how we built that offer. Now, another one that I was talking about in that video is the sales coaching offer. So I was reviewing sales coaching offer, just talking about pain points, right? So anyone that runs a sales team or that has a couple sales sales guys, they need to, number one, review sales calls and give feedback, which means that they need to like go through the actual sales calls, and sales calls are like at least 30 minutes long. And so these are busy people. And so if you run a sales coaching offer, then a huge pain point that people have is like, it's these, right? People don't want to review sales calls. They don't want to like hop on a call, the daily huddle with the sales team and just go through everything. And so you can build an offer or a lead magnet based off of that. And so what do these DMs actually look like? And we'll get into script writing here shortly, but pay attention to these, because these, like both of these, follow the exact strategy that I'm going to talk about when it comes to the best performing scripts based off of more than 3,000 users that have gone through our platform. Okay, so our main DM right now, it's this right here, the 1,000 free leads. So hey, hello, hi, first name. I put together a list of 1,000, and then we use AI to figure out who or the prospect's ICP is. So we're saying, hey, I put a list together of 1,000 SaaS founders who might be interested in your video production services, right? Again, we use AI to determine what service they provide. And then we say, cool, if I send it over at no cost, totally free, on the house, no strings attached. And then if we wanted to do it for the sales calls, for the sales call review offer, hey, hello, hi, first name, I recently helped, and then you want to plug a similar business, take their closing rate from this % to this % in time frame by auditing their sales team's calls. Was wondering if you'd be interested in having me audit one of your guys' calls completely for free. I'll shoot over a full Loom video audit with clear actionable steps for you guys to see quick results. This one is ripping. And then this one, the bottom one, I gave to someone on the weekly community coaching call like a couple months ago. I really don't know if they're running it, but this type of script works really, really well. And so this is kind of what you want to have in mind whenever you're coming up with your offers. Okay, now people might be wondering, okay, how do I actually make money from this? So your lead magnet, number one, should have clear calls to action. You can build a funnel to where they need to opt in to receive it. And what I suggest, and we'll get this in step 5, is like whenever you reply, essentially you want to shoot out like so here, right? We're sending the leads. You want to shoot out the leads and then let them know like, hey, this for context, this is what we do. So hey, here's the leads that you asked for. So like, hey, here's your list of leads, and then a quick summary of what it is that you do. And then at the bottom, I like including a line saying something along the lines of, if you think you to be a fit, I left my calendar link above so I can show you how we implement this for your business, right? So hey, here is your lead magnet, right? So whatever that may be, context on what we do. If you if you're interested in this, I left my link above for you to book a call. That typically works well. There is no need to go back and forth. And I suggest you run something similar if the lead is qualified, right? So if you can tell based off of their profile that they're qualified, and when you're running a bunch of volume, this really just becomes the only way to do it. Obviously, like if you want to go back and forth with prospects, that works too. But when you're running it at the scale that we run these things, then you really just want to keep it as simple and as quick as possible so that your team can shoot out these messages and book a ton of calls. And obviously if someone doesn't book, then there are ways for you to follow up within Drippy. You can set up like automation so that if someone doesn't reply to like after you've replied, if they ghost you, you can just keep following up with them and essentially until they book a call. And so step number 1, like we just talked about, is you building out an offer specifically made for cold traffic. In this case, specifically for Twitter outreach. I went through the 2 main things that are working the best. Now it's time for us to actually take that offer and craft a message. And so, like I said, the last 2 messages that I sent you follow this right here. And this is actually an internal SOP that we have that goes over how to write scripts, and we'll walk through it right now. So in our experience, just based off of all the campaign, we've seen hundreds of thousands of campaigns through thousands of users that have used our platform. And so in always the best performing scripts have some sort of either value upfront or did the work upfront mechanism. So if we go back to these right here, these both have a little bit of both. So here in like the language that I'm talking about is, hey, I put together, right? So I've already done the work upfront and you're providing value. Here, just because of the nature of the offer, there simply is no way for us to do the work upfront, simply because the prospect would need to send us their call recordings for us to be able to do the review, right? But both of these are either providing value upfront or have some sort of did the work upfront mechanism, right? And so you want to imply that the work has already been done. So unless just because of the nature of the offer, it's not possible, just like I showed you. But these are the scripts that work the best. And this is the easiest way to differentiate yourself. Everyone and their mothers are just pitching people like straight off the bat with some sort of nice case study that will work every once in a while. But the best results always come from writing scripts that have either, again, some sort of value up front or did the work up front mechanism. Now, what does that look like? So you always want to have some sort of intro, which is, hey, hello, hi, first name. And then the intro line is going to be, hey, I put together XYZ. I have media request XYZ. Or like, hey, I have this many people looking for your offer. Hey, can I send over? Or like, hey, I built this. Can I send this over? Or, hey, I'll do XYZ for you. All you have to do is something easy. I saw that XYZ. And then the body, you can include some sort of case study, social proof, or risk reversal. And then at the end, you can say, hey, I had some value for your team I wanted to share on how we can help. Can I send value over, right? And so this is how you want to start building out your scripts. This is just based off of what we've seen work best. And again, the main thing, you don't really need to copy the framework. I think that the main point I want to get across is this right here, that you always want to have at least one of these two mechanisms, either value up front or that you did the work up front. And if you do that, again, you're going to beat 99% of the competition because no one is doing this, because yes, it does take more effort, but you're going to end up booking a lot more sales calls. And if you do this, conversions, once they hop on sales calls, go through the absolute roof. Why? Because they hop on a sales call after you've given them value. So it's really a no-brainer. And I highly recommend you do this. So let me walk you through some examples right here. So this is something for that we're running for Drippy as well. So hey, hello, hi, first name. We put together a full Twitter marketing campaign that you and your team can run for company. We just ran a very similar strategy for similar company, and they got XYZ result. The document includes scripts, lead, and even how to set up fully automated campaigns. Mind if I share? So just imagine you got this right from a company that does Twitter marketing. You're like, oh shit, okay, well you'll at least like say yes to look at it, right? And so what happens here is then you'll have to actually go and build this out, but you're gonna start getting a bunch of replies. And so what you can do is, if you get some sort of reply from someone that you maybe don't want to work with once you set up your automations, then you can just say like, hey, I'm sorry, like we just ran out of capacity, or like, hey, we're not taking any new clients, I apologize, have a great rest of your day. Or you can just not reply. I'd rather just kind of let them know that like, hey, we're at capacity right now, I apologize. Or if you do want to work with them, but maybe you got a ton of people that you have to build out these strategies for, then maybe just let them know, like give them a solid timeline, like, hey, I'll shoot this over by next Friday, just give me a couple of days because we're like absolutely hammered with work right now. So that is one of the issues with running one of these, but I promise it's the best issue to have. It's having like too much demand that you can't fulfill on. But ideally you delegate this to someone on your team that can just focus on getting these lead magnets out to people and booking calls. And this is by far the absolute best strategy you can run when it comes to script writing. All right, so that is step number 2. All right, so step number 3 is we actually want to build out a lead list so that we can shoot out our right message to the right people. Okay, so what you want to do is if you don't have a Drippy account already, just click the first link down below in the description, start a free trial, and you want to go to leads. Okay, so we're going to go into leads, then we're going to go into new lead source, we're going to go into lead scraper, and then we're going to go ahead and hit account source. Now, essentially what this will do is it will allow you to scrape anyone's either followers or the people that they follow. Super high level tip that no one is talking about. Reach out to the people that the people you follow. So let me just run this real quick for you. So I'm going to open up my Twitter. I'm going to go into my profile. I'm going to go into the people that I follow, right? So there's going to be a bunch of people here that I follow either because I enjoy their content or because they're my friends, right? And so what that turns into is just a super high quality list of leads. So if, let's say we were trying to reach out to agency owners, I would look up Daniel Fazio. I would go in here and then I would look at who he follows. And then essentially I would just take Daniel Fazio, I would go into Drippy, I would paste my boy's Twitter in there, and then I would go after his following, right? So the people that he follows. And then I would just go in here and be like, okay, who else? Christian right here follows 1,200 people. I would do the exact same thing. And so this will allow you to build super high quality list of leads super quickly. And these, like I promise, these campaigns take longer to build out because obviously it would be way easier if we went after his followers. But if you just want very quick wins, go after the people that you follow. Just build campaigns to those people, super quick wins. They're not going to be the biggest campaigns in the world unless you add a bunch of account sources, but they're going to be super high quality. I mean, obviously you can add followers as well. Like it's literally as easy as just do that account source. If you want, you can add both, right? So it's really not a big deal. You can do followers and following, then we can add the source course, to make the campaigns bigger without you having to add a bunch of account sources. But that is essentially how you want to start shaping leads. So we're going to go after agency owners for this example. Right now we have the people that Daniel Fazio follows and the people that Christian, his followers, and the people that he follows. Then we're going to go ahead and hit next. And now we can add keywords. So how I like to add keywords is I like to go in here. I like to just go through people and be like, okay, would I want to reach out to my boy Matthew? If the answer is yes, then I would take one of the keywords that he has in his bio. And then I would go in here, add element, word. He has that. Then add element, word. Let's go. Who else? I'd like to message Lucas. Yes. Business. He has head, expert, coach. I'm gonna add the word business. Or businesses. We're gonna go ahead and do that. Then I help. So he's an agency owner. He says I help. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna do add word. We're gonna go back in here. I write, yes, founder. We're obviously gonna add founder in here, so on and so forth. You get the point. Essentially, you want to go through the whole list and make sure that you have keywords from everyone that you'd want to reach out to. And if you want to keep making the list bigger and bigger, you can essentially just keep doing that for all your lead sources. So in this case, we would go after Christian, and then we would go look at who he follows, and then just get keywords from the people that he follows that you'd want to reach out to, okay? And that is essentially the quickest and easiest way to build out really, really good keywords just on Twitter. And this is kind of just rule of thumb. You always want to be doing greater than 500. This will just keep the quality of people that you're reaching out to higher than typical. You're not going to be reaching out to any bots, and so that's really amazing. Then you're just going to hit next. We're just going to give this a name, so we're going to do demo YT. You hit save, and then that's literally it. You have a full list of leads that you can now reach out to. All right, so now that we have an offer, we have scripts, we have leads, step number 4 is going to be to build and optimize at least 10 accounts. Well, why 10 accounts specifically? Well, if you go into Twitter terms of service, you'll find that Twitter allows you to send up to 500 messages per day per account, which is a crazy number if you're coming from any other outreach platform. Now, if you want a lot of volume, then you need to be running at least 10 accounts. 10 accounts will allow you to send about 5,000 messages a day. We typically run about 2,000 to 3,000 new messages a day if we're running 10 accounts, and then the other 2,000 to 3,000 will be left for follow-ups. And so this is how you do it. Number 1, you want to find a provider. If you're looking for a provider, just ask me in the comments down below, because our providers are always changing. And so the first thing you want to do is you just want to figure out where you can buy accounts from. Just do a quick Google search. You want to make sure that these accounts are both email and phone verified, or at the very least email verified, okay? They can have 2FA, but it's not completely necessary. You just want to make sure that they have both phone and email verification, just to make your life way, way simpler, and that whenever you're buying the accounts, the provider also gives you those details, okay? Now you are going to essentially, you're gonna log into the accounts. You can do it through proxies. That typically works very well, plus some sort of anti-detect browser. Think of hide my account, go log in. There's a bunch of other ones out there. So you're gonna log into these using a dedicated IP address, and then you're gonna change the profile picture, name, and username, right? So you do that, and then you're gonna have to wait 3 days until verification. You buy verification, and then once the accounts are verified, you can actually start sending out messages. Now, something that you don't want to forget about is that you need these accounts to actually look decent, okay? So they do have the verification. Then you also want to make sure that the bio looks good. You want to make sure there is some sort of pinned post, either a video, it could be a VSL type video, it could be a well-edited YouTube video, or it could be a thread either talking about some of your case studies or talking about what it is that you do. For example, for the Reddit company that I was talking about, Try Red Rover, we have a pinned post on all of our alt accounts talking about how Reddit marketing works, right? Because Reddit marketing really isn't being talked about too much on Twitter. And so whenever we're reaching out to people, we want people to know kind of that we know how it works and why it works so well. And so again, you just want to make sure that there is content on the accounts, that you're consistently pushing content on all your alt accounts to make sure that whenever someone clicks on your profile, they're not just like, hey, like this guy's just trying to scam me. No, you want your accounts to look really, really good. And you want your content to provide value to whoever is reading it. Okay, so that is kind of my rule of thumb. Just make sure the accounts look really, really good. If you can link to some sort of YouTube channel, that's even better, just to show that you're legit. And again, remember that you also want to have links to your website, essentially just anything that is going to make these alt accounts look like they work at your company. Okay, that is just a rule of thumb. Make sure they look like employee accounts. All right, so just a quick recap. So up until this point, we've built an offer, we have our scripts, we have our leads, we have 10 plus accounts that look really, really good. Step number 5 is actually to set up campaigns. So let's dive right into Drip be. So now that we have our leads, we can actually just go to automations, then we can go to add new, and we're going to select cold DM 2.0. We're going to go ahead and hit next. We're going to select our lead source. It's the demo YT. Next, we're going to go ahead and select script personalizer. That will allow us to use AI to enhance our message. We're going to go ahead and hit next. Now for context, let's just say we're running it for, again, Red Rover. We help companies market on Reddit. Companies with marketing on Reddit. Doesn't have to be very long. It can just be very short and sweet. And so here's a quick message that we're sending. So, hey, first name, came across a Reddit post where someone was asking for a service like yours and 7 people chimed in with bad options. If you were there, you would have closed at least one. Want the thread plus how we'd jump in smoothly. And obviously this has a bunch of spin tags, but these types of messages, again, this follows the exact thing that we were talking about over here with the SOP. It's like we did the work up front. This is a work up front mechanism. So we're saying like, hey, we just were on Reddit and we found a bunch of posts on Reddit talking about your company, and people were like in the comments were talking about some other company. Want us to show you how we jump in and essentially just turn the conversation so that you get all that traffic and all your competitors. And obviously, like, it is a bunch of work because once people reply, we have to go and find them. But it's working extremely, extremely well. Like I said, it's booking more than 5 demos every single day. Once we've got our message, we want to go to settings. We want to make sure we hit the advanced for the AI. And then we're going to select AI creativity 1.3. So message is turned off for this one. Include website context on, all websites, tweet context on, all recent tweets. Message variants, we're not going to do any variants right now, but you can add as many variants as you'd like. If you want to A/B test, we're going to go ahead and hit next. You can add follows. We don't have any follows for this campaign. It's working really, really well. We found that almost 80% of our replies actually come from the initial message. So follow-ups, they are helpful, but the majority of your replies will just come from the initial message. So then we're gonna go ahead and schedule an automation. So right now we're testing, and we found that scheduling around 24 messages per hour will have you hitting anywhere between 300 to 400 messages, just because some people will have their DMs closed or some people will not fit your criteria. And so our system will essentially just skip a bunch of people depending on the filters that you set up. But 24 messages per hour is kind of the max that we're doing right now. And when it comes to advanced settings, we always want to select secure previously contacted. We always have use do not contact list turned on. We prevent cross account duplicates. AI language check, location check, and activity check, I like turned on. Activity check, I usually have it at 30 days. AI location check, I like to select the US, and then AI language check, I like to select English as well. Then we're going to go ahead and hit next. We give the automation a name, you select the account from which you want to send from, you hit create, and now you are sending. All right, so for a bonus step, now that we've actually got our campaigns live, we're going to go through reply management. So if you're doing Twitter outreach via Drippy and you've been following this tutorial, it's literally the easiest thing in the world to do. You just go to inbox, you hit all, and then you want to select unreplied. You want to get all accounts, and then you want to select all your accounts right here so you don't have to cycle through all the different accounts. You select all the accounts, and so there we go. You just want to make sure you have all your accounts selected. You want to go to the unreplied tab, and then you can just answer messages right here. You don't have to cycle through and log into all the accounts. You just want to make sure that you have all your accounts selected. You go to unreplied, and then you can hit people with any tag you'd like. You can write your message right here, go ahead and hit send, and then you can also schedule any follow-ups if someone ghosts you after they've replied. And so the rule of thumb here, whenever you are replying, is to just reply quickly, number one, and you want to go straight to the point. Again, typically with these lead magnets, we will give them the lead magnet, give them a quick summary of what it is that the specific company does. In this case, we're talking Reddit marketing, and then we send them a link to book a call with us, right? And then we set follow-up so that if people don't book a call, they constantly keep getting hit with the follow-ups until they actually do book a call. And if you want to get this set up for yourself, there is a link down below in the description to start your 7-day free trial, and the video on screen will help you get that set up as quickly as possible. I appreciate you, and we will speak soon. Peace.